Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're doing another What's It Worth regarding the Loomunity 2025 event. Now, obviously, as we may know, there were a lot of Rainbow event Loomians that were dropped in this event, and none other than the two major roamers were actually dropped in this event. One being Arceus, and none other than behind me, the Rainbow Glacadia. Now, this amazing thing was actually found and caught by Axel, so major shoutouts to you for lending this to me. But before we get into anything else, here's your socials, so, major shoutouts once again. But let's get straight into the facts. Both the Arceus and Glacadia are going to be definitely easier for this event, as they can actually be boosted for their odds by ×4. So their base odds is going to be 1 in 10,000. So for those who are free to play, this is going to be a 1 in 10k for you guys. However, for us people who are going to be using boost this event, it's going to be a 1 in 2.5 thousand chance to find in the wild. Now, most importantly, we're going to be discussing the value, as once again, do keep in mind this is going to be something that's going to be subject to change. However, in reference to the Rainbow Daimari event, this is going to be looking around less than that. However, it's going to have solid demand overall, although the demand is still going to turn out to be poorly in this event afterwards. As of now, it's not the worst, but it will eventually drop. So we're gonna look at values from around the lowest, around 0.7 or 0.8 to around the max of 1.2 GR. Now, with this being said, let's get straight into the trading process. All right, let's go in the chat and let's type in looking for offers on Rainbow Glacadia, and boom. And now let's wait for offers. All right, and our first trade request is coming from none other than Axel himself. So let's see what Axel has to offer on his own Rainbow Glacadia. So we start off with a Gleam Icicle, Pure Nimble, Gleam PvP Trained, Leshant, Very Brawny, Clumsy, and Sluggish. Again, a Christmas Galava, Pure Nimble, and it does seem like this may be Axel's final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. All right, I did just ask as to whether or not this is Axel's final offer or not, and Axel did just say, see. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? I would definitely do this trade. I think this trade is an actual E/W. Although the Icicle itself is going to be under 1 GR since it's around like 2.5 gammas, we're still going to look at the Leshant, which is going to be around 1 GR a little bit, and then with the side add of being 0.7 GR coming from our Galava, this is going to be a terrible trade, although the demand is terrible from this end when compared to our side that's 1.7 for our max of 1.2. So I would definitely take that. Definitely an equal as of now. It could be definitely a W in the future, but we're gonna have to see, as this may be subject to change. So I'm definitely gonna give this one an in-between thumbs up. With this being said, let's get into our next trade. All right, and our next trade request is coming from Bree07. So let's see what Bree has to share with us today. So we sort of really great with a Gleam Santa Dusket, Pure Nimble, Gamma Crambos, Clumsy Nimble, a Gamma Cyan Icicle, Pure Brownie, and SA seems to be PvP, I'm assuming, Grimuline, Pure Nimble, and it does seem like this may be Bree's final trade, but I'll quickly check in a second. All right, without even having to ask, Bree did just say, or Bri did just say, this would be my final offer. So this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade is an obvious major thumbs up. You don't want to take this immediately. Now, do keep in mind the Gleam Set of Dusket alone is around 8 to 9 GR max, so I don't think I need to say anymore, but if you just take a look on the right, we obviously have some ads. So this Crambos, Icicle, and Grimulant are going to be great ads to take along with this, and I'll definitely take this trade as just a major thumbs up. All this being said, let's get into our next trade. All right, and our next trade request is coming from Bitara. So let's see what Dill has shared with us today. So we start off with a Rainbow Obsidian, Pure Robust, a Purple Gradient Cinemoth, Pure Nimble, an Orange Whist Cinemoth, which is going to be Pure Nimble, and a White Cosmere, Pure Nimble. And it does seem like this may be Dill's final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. All right, and I did just ask Dill as whether or not this is the final offer, and they did just say, can you take this plus the PvPs? So now we're going to throw in some PvPs, it seems. We got some PvP Terraclaw, PvP Terradescent, PvP Christmas, Pink Protagon, PvP Morphezu, Gabudemic, Zulong, Holly Bunch, Valkyrie, Luminami, Metronet. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go through all those, but I think we get the picture here. Is this trade worth it? Personally, as of now, the values aren't, solidified and all that, so values can be a little bit more changed around. But since this is the adopted variant of the Rainbow Obsidian, unfortunately, this is going to have to be a thumbs down. Do keep in mind, if this was the one you can find in the wild with the actual wisp, this would definitely be a thumbs up, as keep in mind, that is a 1 in 5,000, and overall, more people are going to find the Glaciadian Arceus in comparison to this. But this being said, let's get into our next trade. All right, and our next trade request is coming from Manager GM, so let's see what Manager has to share with us today. So we start off amazing with a Rainbow Fairglyph, which is going to be Idiosyncratic and Pure Robust. And it does seem like this may be Manager's final trade. I think this is going to be a one-on-one. So with this being said, let me quickly confirm with Manager, and I'll be back in a second. All right, and I did just ask Manager as to whether or not this is his final offer, and he did just say yes. So with this being said, he did add in a Gleam Christmas Yersol, Pure Brownie, and a Gamma Wassel, Pure Nimble. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? I would definitely say this trade is a great thumbs up. This is going to be a great trade to take. Do keep in mind that the Rainbow Fairglyphs have gone up since the last time they were actually rated. So this is going to be around 2 to 2.2 GR. So around that range, double the value of our current Glacadia. And with the slight ads, I think we know where this is going. This is going to be a great trade, and I would definitely do this immediately. So with this being said, let's get into our next trade. All right, and our last and final trade is coming from Sky Scar Lover YT. So let's see what Sky has to share with us today. So we start off with a Rainbow Eliguana, Pure Brownie, a Rainbow Terradescent, Pure Brownie, a Soul Necta, Pure Hyper, an Adopted Rainbow Obsidian, Pure Robust, a Wisp Purple Cinemoth, Pure Brownie, an Alpha Terraclaw, Smart Sluggish, and it does seem like this may be Sky's final offer, as we're still throwing in some some things. However, we're just gonna quickly cut to the chase, and we're gonna quickly ask Sky as to whether or not this is their final offer, and I'll come back in a second. Alright, I did just ask Sky as to whether or not this is their final offer, and they did just say yes. So this being said, is this trade worth it? Unfortunately, we're gonna have to give this trade a thumbs down. Do keep in mind that since this is an adopted Obsidian, it's not gonna be around that 1.5 GR we're looking for. So unfortunately, since it is the normal one as well as the normal Iguana for the Rainbow event, we're gonna have to give this one a thumbs down. The GR isn't really gonna push towards 1 GR, a little even over that. And even with the additional adds that they did throw in, being the Cosmillion, Dual Clever, the Yellow Christmas, Protagon, Pure Nimble, and the Dragodine, Real Sluggish, it's still not gonna quite cut it. So unfortunately, once again, it's gonna be a thumbs down. But overall, thank you for trading us, and let's conclude this trade. Alright guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, and join our Discord server. And while you're at it, cop some of our merch, and keep in mind that we're gonna be dropping some of that new merch, so just keep your eyes peeled for that. But don't just stop there. Go check out our Twitter giveaway regarding the Gleaming Homie Red Dakota, which is gonna end at 7,900 subscribers, which we're less than 35 subs away. So make sure to like, subscribe if you can. But remember, pineapples are vegetables. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, stay safe, peace.